Welcome to another edition of the End Zone as we get ready for a big week of college football. Along with my co-host, TJ Eckert, I am Colby Daniels, and CLINT CHELF is our guest, former Oklahoma State quarterback, or as Mike Gundy used to call him, Tin, joining us as we get ready for homecoming in Stillwater. CLINT, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys. Excited to talk a little football. I know the state of Oklahoma is not exactly the best place for football right now, but I'm still excited to be here and talk. Yeah,
we're all Thunder fans at this point.
That's right. That's right.
In the season. That's where we're at. Did you ever go out and venture about during homecoming? Like look at all the floats and stuff? It's pretty cool.
It is really cool. During our time there, I used to request in the Atherton a hotel room that faced towards the deck so I could see everybody else. I'm just standing at my window in the hotel room looking out. But no, we never did that. We went to the movies still. That was kind of our what we did, and then came back to the hotel. So no, I nenever got to.
Fans always ask, does homecoming bring like a little extra like rah-rah for the game?
Not in my mind. I'm not a real big rah-rah guy.
And
you know,
it's homecoming. Let's win it for homecoming. You know what I mean?
Being the guy that was standing at the window, I guess that kind of tells you where I was at.
There you go.
Looking out the window, that's kind of my extent of it. But no, I was never a big rah-rah guy, so it didn't affect me one way or the other. Probably affected some other guys, but
CLINT CHELF did not care about if he won homecoming king.
The tear rolling down his cheek as he looked out the window.
Yeah. Not one of those guys. Well, okay, listen. Things are not going well in Stillwater right now, and you know that. You're around the team still. So I think our main focus right now today is defense, right? Like that's been the problem really for the past few weeks for the Cowboys. Is there anything as a former quarterback that you're looking at and saying, yep, that's an issue, or yep, this is all an issue? Like, what is it?
Yeah, you know, there's not really one thing that I can pinpoint. Unfortunately, I wish there was just a, hey, let's do this one thing and we can be better. You know, there's a lot of weaknesses on this defense. I think, you know, specifically looking at a defense, when I break down a defense or when I look at this team, and there's effort, there's physicality. You got to have talented guys, and you've got to have good coaching. And when I watch this team, there seems to be a lack of talent along the defensive line. I don't watch them and say, hey, there's a bunch of guys that are going to be playing in the NFL. Yeah. And that's fine. You know, that's something that Coach Gundy has been really good at developing and working with those guys. And so if you're not going to be the most talented, you better have the best effort and be physical. And when I watch them, especially against the game against Baylor, I thought those two things were lacking. I didn't think there was great effort. I didn't think the physicality up front is to the level of a Power 5 defense. But all of that being said, those are things that you can mask, in my opinion, with good coaching. And when I look at this team and you can run twists, run stunts, mask those inefficiencies and those inabilities, and you're not seeing a whole lot of that either. So I wish there was one thing that I could say, but when I watch the game, there's a laundry list of things that I think you can pick out.
Obviously, injuries are a big part of this, right? You lose Colin Oliver early, you lose Nick Martin, Trey Rucker was out. Like some of your star players have not been available, and you understand that that's going to make any defense decrease in terms of the level of production. But they're the second worst total defense in the country. 134 teams in college football. They're the second worst total defense, rushing defense, second worst against giving up explosive plays. And then you have Mike Gundy talking about effort. When you're that bad, the effort has to be above and beyond anyone. And the fact that there's no effort, I mean, that kind of defies everything that is Cowboy culture, right? I mean, that's what Mike Gundy preaches is Cowboy culture. Not giving effort seems like it would be number one on the Cowboy culture list.
Yeah. Like I said, when you don't have those other things and the talent part of it, when you're losing a Nick Martin, Colin Oliver, Trey Rucker was out for a game, those are your playmakers. Those are your defensive guys that you lean on to make a play. I think if Colin Oliver was healthy for the BYU game, that game in specific looks different because of how 100%. He could get after the passer in that last drive where there was no pressure. So, if you're not playing with your best guys, you better play hard. And, I think that could be something they can improve on this week.
Offensively, anything you like? I love the game plan from Casey Dunn at BYU. You mentioned BYU game. It looked great. We did a great job getting Garrett Rangel going in the run game. Obviously, he gets hurt. Still did a pretty good job with Alan Bowman when he comes in. Had a chance to win that game. And what do you like him so far, or not like him maybe from the offense?
Yeah, I think of the offense is a boat that has multiple holes, and it seems like when one thing goes right and you've got this hole plugged, then something else leaks.
Sure.
And they have those things. They've shown the ability to play with great effort. They've shown the ability to be physical in certain parts of the game. They obviously have the talent. I think we know that. There's not a lack of talent for the skill positions. So, I think the effort's been fine, but to me it starts with the offensive line. and a team that these guys have a lot of experience. We knew that coming in, but experience is only one piece of it to me. You have to have guys that are talented, and sometimes, and we've talked about this with some of the other radio guys, is talent and can only take you so far when the experience is not the best, right? So you look at the experience for this offensive line, and I think these guys have played a lot of football, but when you play a lot of football like that, you expect to be in the NFL, right?
Sure.
I mean, I think it's like the March Madness, right? The team that has a bunch of older guys is not always the most talented. They just play the hardest. So
that's right.
Makes sense.
I think that's something that when I look at it as a quarterback, the offensive line is where where it starts.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, speaking of playing quarterback, Oklahoma's had to struggle with that position, obviously inexperience, and they've had a lot of injuries. We've got to take a timeout, and we'll talk a little bit about the offense. I know you're an OSU guy, but the concept of new offensive coordinator and quarterbacks is something that I know you can speak of. That is CLINT CHELF joining us, along with TJ Eckert. I am Colby Daniels. Is it a get-right game for the Sooners? Next on the End Zone. Welcome back to the End Zone, along with TJ Eckert. I'm Colby Daniels. CLINT CHELF is our guest this week as we break down the college football landscape, specifically the Oklahoma college football landscape. Who would have thought after 8 games for both OU and OSU that we would be counting where the wins are, right? I mean, OSU needs 3 more to become bowl eligible. I don't know where the 3 wins are for sure. OU needs 2 more. I don't know for a guarantee where those 2 wins are. One of them, though, is this weekend, right? I mean, there's no way I'm eating my words this time next week after the main matchup, which I've referred to all week as a get-right game, right? Yep. This is your opportunity to I know that coaches say every game is the most important thing and it's just about winning, but this is the type of game that gives you a big opportunity to not only win the game, but maybe try some new things, right? Maybe throw in some players that you wouldn't against an Ole Miss or that type of level of competition. Offensively, they've done the hokey pokey with the quarterbacks, right? And you've got a new offensive coordinator. I know that you've been in an offense where things aren't necessarily stable from week 1 to the end of the season. So how difficult is it offensively when you have that much disruption, especially with offensive coordinator and quarterback?
It's very difficult. I think when you look at the quarterback situation with Jackson Arnold, a guy that coming into this year I think was maybe going to be the guy to win another Heisman for OU. I think he was regarded that highly, and I was really impressed with him bouncing back and playing last week. I think you mentioned the get-right game. It's also a game where you get a guy that's a young quarterback that's been in and out of the lineup to build confidence, and I think they did some really nice things schematically last weekend with him. But their offense, much like Oklahoma State's, is predicated upon that offensive line. And if growing up in Oklahoma, back when I was playing, they were known for having offensive linemen that were always getting drafted. I mean, it wasn't just one guy, and it wasn't just a draft pick. It was a first-round type guy. And I don't see that on this offensive line, and I think that's partly why they've struggled moving to the SEC. But, it's a nice piece of medicine to get when you get Maine coming in, and you can maybe get right and build some confidence. 9
sacks against South Carolina was a program record. They allowed 10 against Ole Miss, breaking a program record that lasted 7 days, which is not good. I was there in Oxford, and it was an interesting game because in the first half, they leaned on the defense, did a really good job there. The offense, Jackson Arnold was taking checkdowns. He was pulling down the ball and running it as well. Looked good doing that. And then the second half, Joe John Finley, that was my argument going into the week, was I think the first half will be good because you have no play calling tendencies. What do you like on P and 10, 3rd and short? We didn't know. Ole Miss didn't know. They figured it out at halftime and made the adjustments. Is that something, too, for another play caller or a young play caller like Joe John, get another week now to kind of work out some things for yourself as an OC?
I think so, yeah. Whenever you get the opportunity to build that confidence and get even another week under you, you go into a place like Oxford and have some success, I think that's something you can build off of. So, I like what they're going to probably bring this week. I think I reflected that in my picks later. So I think that Joe John's going to be good for that offense. He did some really nice things with the RPO game, protected that offensive line a little bit. I know they've been down at receiver for a while now. I'm not entirely sure who they have back or not. I don't follow it that closely.
We don't know.
But I know that they've been down some guys, and that can only help, as he gets the playmakers back, incorporating them into play. That's got to give him more confidence calling plays. Sure. So.
This is a bad FCS opponent, right?
Yep.
This isn't just an FCS opponent. This is a bad FCS opponent to the point that even if you haven't been good offensively, you should be good this Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Right.
If not now, then it's probably never is probably how you're going to look at it. I know
Uncomfortable conversations, right, are going to take place.
very much
Yeah.
so. And I think that's something that maybe the Big 12 could look at is putting one of these games later in the season so you have that opportunity to take a breather. It's not necessarily a bad thing, especially for teams that are playing good football like these two. So
This is the one guaranteed win we can find. You were trying to find two. Surely we can.
This is the one guarantee.
Yeah.
You got one, and then you got to find one more.
I don't know where the other one is, but one of them is
I don't know. It has to be.
Saturday.
Yeah, it has to be. Heads will roll. I mean, and not just roll, but like punted down the streets in Norman.
Norman might be on fire by Saturday night if
Nobody
that
would be left.
goes the wrong way.
Let's not talk about that.
All right, let's attempt to move the chains on the other side of this timeout. CLINT CHELF is joining us here on this week's edition of The End Zone. All right, it's time for America's favorite segment, or at least our favorite segment. It's Moving the Chains.
good.
CLINT CHELF is our guest this week. Okay, so it's a very simple concept. We're going to give you questions. You're going to start with 1st and 10.
Okay.
We will grade your answers with positive or negative yardage, and the goal is to move the chains.
So got to
right?
be
So
got to
it's-
be good on first down.
Yeah,
then.
you
That's
need
the
to be
key.
good on
In
first
theory,
down.
okay.
You don't want to put yourself behind the chains out of the gate. So I'm going to give you a big opportunity to maybe go deep on play number
Okay,
one.
good.
So you have a big chance out of the gate here. I usually keep it vanilla early, but I'm dialing up something big for you. Give me your best Todd Monken story.
Oh man, I don't know if I can narrow it down to just one. I think he's a guy that when you talk about stories, it's usually language that is pretty colorful, and so it's hard
Fair
to
enough.
tell. It's always hard to tell
Fair
Todd
enough.
Monken stories in official settings because of
Yeah.
that. OSU does something called Extreme Camp. So they have extreme campers, that guys that can come in through spring and fall practice, one of them, and they get to sit in on the meeting rooms and get to sit in with us, watch practice. I mean, they're in there when we're getting going through. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And listening to those guys, our room was typically packed anyways, being quarterbacks, but with Todd in there, and he would, play it up for those guys. So we got extra special language in those.
Okay. Okay.
So and it wasn't like he was demeaning us talking, but it would be a lot funnier stuff. So I think that's probably my
Graphic.
best. Yeah.
Okay.
He would play it up to these guys that were donating money to be in the room. So that's probably the best one, because most of the other ones, either I can't tell or they've been shown on camera already. You know what I mean? It's like when we had the quarterback show, everybody sees the clip of him,
Right.
Talking and how he was talking to coaches. So
All right.
probably
Okay.
that.
That's we couldn't get too much detail there, so I can't give you a touchdown. We'll go. It was a good positive game though, because he is funny. 4-yard game. How about that?
Okay.
That's where I
All
headed
right.
the chains.
There we go.
I'm happy with
You like that? Yeah. Second and 6.
Second and 6.
So we'll go 2nd and 6 now. Here's an interesting one, because Brendan Presley's going to break the receptions record at Oklahoma State. It could be this weekend. It could be next. It's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where would you rank him? It's a long list in terms of top wide receiver in Oklahoma State history.
I didn't know these questions, and I was thinking about this probably for the last game afterwards, and I think I've settled on he's for sure top 5. To me, for the moments that he's had, he's going to have the longevity. He's going to have the counting stats, and I think that's really impressive for his build.
Yeah.
I think Blackman's number 1, and then if anybody wants to put him 2 through 5, I'm fine with that. I think his moments, the return touchdown against OU, the high point catch against Iowa State a few years ago, he's had the peak moments that everybody else has had. I mean, I'll remember the kickoff return in Bedlam for that may be one of the best moments of the program. So I'm going to put him really high. I think he's had, like I said, the counting stats. He's been a guy that's been reliable. His availability has never been in question. And so I will say top 3, and you can tell me who you want after Blackman.
Okay.
After Blackman, then it's open. So I'll go out on a limb. I know that's probably not a
I'm thinking Blackman is unquestionably number 1, and then it's some version of like Hartley Dykes, Des Bryant, Rashawn Woods, James Washington, Tylan Wallace, and Brendan Presley's name is in that
long
group,
list,
but it's kind of pick your poison. I'll give you 3 yards, and we're going to set up third and short.
That's
Third
good,
and short's
yeah.
manageable. I can handle
Third
that.
and one.
I'd like to see OSU in more third and shorts, honestly. So maybe I'll say, yeah.
Come on now.
So this year, it's been said that OSU needs to run the football with the quarterback more. You famously did that with your get away from the cop speed. So fastest quarterback at OSU in the Gundy era.
Ooh.
That's a good question.
I'm gonna have to think. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think. It's not Brandon, so I know that one.
We eliminated one. We eliminated one.
Zach was pretty fast. JW is fast.
It's not Allen either.
It's not Alan Bowman.
Yeah, it's
No.
not Allen.
Gunner?
Gunner was quick.
Spencer?
JW was quick. Spencer was fast. Yeah, Spencer was fast. I'll say
Clint?
me, and then Spencer,
Oh.
and then JW. Yeah, so I'll say me.
This is
That's
not
the
a,
right answer, by the way.
I'll
That
say-
is the right
I
answer.
mean,
Yeah. I mean,
Nobody ever said that Spencer had get away from the cop
that's
speed.
right.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
I'm gonna
right.
play it up a little. JW was fast too.
And this
so
is
I-
not right now.
Well, no,
This is-
yeah,
this is-
yeah.
this is-
Right. Like prime Clint Shelf.
Yeah, we'll give Clint a first down there.
First
They're
down,
not-
all
so
right.
We've already moved the chains, but we gotta get one more question in here. and
Okay.
This will be a quick
You
one.
might be able to get 2 first downs.
You could.
Yeah.
Give me the most. It's Halloween weekend. Most overrated and most underrated Halloween candy. Ready to go.
Oh,
This could be a touchdown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or a like fumble scoop and score.
Which hasn't happened yet.
by far the worst candy. I will. It'll be on my gravestone.
Okay.
Candy corn is the worst.
Fair.
Is the worst candy of all time.
Touchdown!
Is
Touchdown!
don't
Clint
even-
Shelf not only got a first down, he got a touchdown.
We don't even need the underrated.
I don't
candy.
even need the underrated. That's
But
it.
what is it though? If we're curious. I will know.
You know, I'm a Mr. Goodbar guy. If you know the
okay.
Hershey's, it's a. I don't think it gets nearly as
just-
much love. It's peanuts and chocolate.
Yeah, that's it, right?
And I'm a plain guy.
Yeah.
The cookies and cream, I think, gets a lot of shine. The Hershey's bars in a bunch of
Okay.
packages.
Okay.
I like to see the good bar in there because it's yellow. Maybe other people don't eat it. That's why I eat it. So
Okay.
that's underrated
You
to me
led-
because I,
You led with the heavy hitter. That
Yeah.
was smart of
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
The other
yeah.
one wasn't mad at
Yeah.
me.
Candy
Whatever.
corn is trash. Touchdown, Clint Shelf. All right, we've got to take our final timeout, and we have this weekend's game picks next on the End Zone. All right, let's jump into last week's picks as TJ had a big week, and for the second week in a row gets the W 4-1.
Thank you. We'll take the listen. It's a slow climb, but we are getting there. I don't know what the overall is. There it is.
There it is.
We're- oh,
You're
look,
3
it's
games
three-
back.
three
You're
back.
3 games back.
We're coming now. We're not making money yet, but we're close.
I've been feeling the pressure for a couple weeks. Now I'm really feeling it, so I've got to deliver. A&M at South Carolina.
Tough one here. I like Mike Elko though. Man's doing some coaching there in College Station. Give me the Aggies.
I believe that I was picking South Carolina. That's right.
You did.
I'm not a fan of Connor Wegman, the quarterback for A&M. I
fair.
know Marcel Reed came in, so I think after watching those defensive ends, they can get after that quarterback.
I have not picked A&M. I will not pick A&M. Give me the
Principal.
Gamecocks.
Yeah, fair.
All right, game number 2. The cocktail party.
This game
if we
hasn't-
can still call it
Yeah,
that.
it hasn't been close. I looked it up. Hasn't been close in years. There's been like double-digit wins on both sides, like the past 5-6 years. So I think Georgia does it again this year as well.
I like Billy Napier is actually doing a better job than what I expected at the beginning of the year. I'm still going to go Georgia though. I think they found something against Texas.
Yeah, Georgia, and I'll give whatever points necessary. Ohio State, Penn State. This is the game of the weekend in college football.
Penn State has been my pick every week because my dad's a Penn State fan. I don't like Will Howard yet. Still don't. I'm going to go with the Nittany Lions.
You know, both teams taking a part of Kansas last year. Penn State getting Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator. I think he's fantastic. You see what he meant to Kansas. They're not doing too good. I'll pick Penn State with him.
Give me the Buckeyes. All right, OU minus 34.5.
Seems
against
like
Maine.
it's not that many points for an FCS opponent. That's just shocking, but I'll take the Sooners. Why not?
OU, I think it's a confidence game. I think if they get ahead, they're not going to let up. They need some confidence going into the rest of their season.
They haven't scored over 34 points except for the opener this year, but I think they will win by 34
Surely.
points this weekend, for sure. All right, homecoming in Stillwater. The Cowboys are 1-point underdogs.
Pokes are they're motivated. Surely, at some point they got to win one,
Gotta
right?
win
Gotta
one,
win
right?
homecoming, right? Give me the Cowboys. Come on.
I'll take OSU as well. I don't want to go too
Very
deep into,
confident.
yeah.
I don't know how they're going to tackle Cameron Scatabo,
We'll
but
figure
they
it
got
out.
to win one. They got to win one
The
at some
matchup
point.
is not great,
yeah.
but
They'll figure it out.
I'll take OSU despite the fact that I don't know if they're going to be able to tackle. All right, Clint, we appreciate it. We'll do it again soon. For TJ Eckert, I'm Colby Daniels. Have a great college football weekend.